Why billionaires intentionally invest in their failures first. Welcome to you who want to find out how to reprogram your finances. If this is the first time you visit this channel, I want to remind you that in the first episode of this series, we broke the ice by demystifying why saving like a poor person keeps us ruined. Then, in the second episode, we tackled how to invest your first $100 step by step with simple, realistic, and 100% operational methods. We have now arrived at a pivotal stage in this series of videos, because what I am going to reveal to you today will seem counterintuitive. And guess why? Because people who try to avoid failure in investments constantly fail. In truth, if billionaires succeed, it's because they think the opposite. And how? By adopting the anti-portfolio rule, a strategy that consists of voluntarily investing in failures first to never fail again. In the next 10 minutes, I will provide you with the actual manual so that you can apply the anti-portfolio rule as soon as you finish watching this video. So, hanging in there, let's go. The illusion of linear success poses a real problem. Indeed, we are wrong to believe that accumulating wealth amounts to a straight trajectory like study, work hard, save a lot of money, invest prudently, incur the minimum risks. This is what we have been taught since childhood, and it is the path that 99% of investors follow to this day, which unfortunately never leads to the desired financial independence. What to do then? It's all about mindset. Here is a riddle. Why does venture capital, a sector where failure is the norm, make it easier to become a billionaire than to prudently manage funds consistently? The answer to this question lies in our heads, and it is contradictory. I did say contradictory since the brain is programmed for risk aversion bias. Losing $100 displeases us more than earning $100 pleases us. As a result, we focus much more on earning money to avoid losing it than on the possibility of losing money to gain a lot. Now, try, if only for 1 minute, to get into the minds of giants like Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, or other fervent venture capitalists. Then, try to decipher their true strategy. You will realize that their portfolio is never 100% safe or completely risk-free, but rather comparable to a calculated minefield. To help you better assimilate the anti-portfolio rule, I suggest you leave the bank aside just for a moment and think about NASA. In the 60s, the challenge of sending a man to walk on the moon was huge. The budget, though colossal, was limited and the pressure enormous. If NASA had applied our prudent investment decades developing a single type of space rocket, all to have 99.99% certainty that it would never break down. If that were the case, the US government would have spent much more money than it should have before achieving the ambition of being the first among nations to succeed in sending a man to put his feet on lunar soil. Instead, NASA chose to apply the fast failure strategy. The outcome? The budget and efforts that went into projects that were doomed to fail eventually paid off. A case study on the fast failure strategy of NASA supports what I have just stated. To tell the truth, NASA voluntarily invested astronomical sums of money to finance parallel and redundant projects, capsule designs, thrusters, guidance systems. Some of these projects were doomed to failure in the first weeks of testing, resulting in several $100 million gone up in smoke, invested in concepts that will never see the light of day. You may ask me why they wasted so much money on projects doomed to fail. Simply because each failure was assimilated to raw data of inestimable value. The rocket explosion incidents provided them with various critical and empirical data that theory alone could never have provided. This is what allowed them to drastically reduce the error margins. They preferred to maximize investment in failure to eliminate the risk of making the entire program fail. Thus, the world has seen NASA fail, few and often, for the greatest success of the Apollo 11 project. And it is exactly the same mentality that big investors adopt. Let's look at the case of Jeff Bezos. Do you have any idea how many projects he launched that unfortunately perished? Calls, auctions, travel rentals. Hundreds of millions of dollars gone up in smoke. The Amazon giant himself said that if someone never fails, it's because he is not quite ready to innovate yet. And this is indeed the foundation of the anti-portfolio rule. Billionaires condition their minds to invest 10 times more in bold attempts, often deemed unrealistic by many. They know perfectly well that 75, 80, or even 90% of these projects are doomed to failure. But despite this, they always keep in mind that 25, 20, or even 10% of successful projects will be so profitable and massive that not only will they absorb all of their losses, but also generate a permanent colossal gain. In the eyes of an ordinary investor, 9 out of 10 failures are tantamount to bankruptcy. For the billionaire, this proves that he has bet on high potential investments. By experimenting with the 9 failures, he paid a high price to be certain that the 10th will be crowned with success. It is for this reason that people who succeed invest first in failure. They are convinced that this is the only true key to achieving financial success. Now that you have understood and assimilated the concept, let's see together how to apply it to your own financial strategy without throwing money away. Here are 3 immediately ready-to-use steps for turning failures into wealth: valuing capital for learning, defining an asymmetric time horizon, adopting the first failure rule. Step 1. Calculate the learning capital. Start by defining an amount of money that you are willing to lose. Professional investors call it venture capital budget, meaning the budget for risk capital. Be careful not to allocate all of your investment resources to it. Even if it is the portion of money that you are willing to lose entirely, this should not affect your financial security. They should represent 3 to 10% of your investment capital at most. The capital in question here has nothing to do with the money invested in betting games. It is rather comparable to the essential cost to be incurred in order to collect valuable data on sectors with very high potential: emerging cryptocurrencies, hyper-speculative stocks, investment in a startup. The rule is simple and strict. No lost money should be reinvested before having learned a concrete lesson from failure. If you have imprudently invested and followed a piece of advice without understanding it, the money is lost. On the other hand, if you applied the right rules, but the market shifted unpredictably, you did well to pay for the harvested data. Step 2. Define an asymmetric time horizon. Many people make the mistake of requiring near immediate returns on high-risk investments. Billionaires, on the other hand, set a different time horizon. Between myth and reality, how do we manage to distinguish well? I call myth the legend according to which a day trader thinks he can succeed in the bet of the century within 72 hours. I believe it is realistic and reasonable for an anti-portfolio investor to make 10 different high-potential bets on a 10-year scale. The success of the 10th implementation in 9 years and 6 months must be quite massive, overwhelming, and profitable to not only cover the previous 9 failures, but also to generate enough fortune in the long run. In my opinion, the first good attitude to take begins with changing one's mentality. From the moment you embark on a venture capital or learning capital investment, keep in mind that the value of this type of investment will only be apparent after 7 to 10 years. This gives you enough time and patience to let failure mature and make success manifest. This time horizon serves as a true hedge against the risk of failure. Thus, between premature failure and validated learning, there is only one step: The asymmetrical time horizon. This is what differentiates billionaires from the vast majority of people. Step 3. Practice the first failure rule. We have now arrived at the heart of the rule. Bet on the smallest and riskiest investment to validate the hypothesis. Concretely, you want to invest in a very promising market? Don't bet immediately 50% of your capital. Invest only 5% in the riskiest investment and fastest way to fail. If this fails, rejoice, because in addition to having preserved 95% of your investment, you have learned, understood, and retained everything that could not work. If after analysis and thorough study, you believe that it is viable, increase the bet little by little with a better understanding of the risk. This mechanism, called venture capital feedback loop, is hyper useful for evaluating, investing small, testing flaws, learning, and reinvesting big. Remember that the anti-portfolio rule is not about throwing money out of the window. It rather consists of paying the necessary price in exchange for an experience whose value is inestimable with a view to massive success in the future. Now you understand why extremely rich people use failure to get richer. The anti-portfolio rule is therefore totally demystified, but there is an even rarer and more precious resource than money: time. Billionaires don't waste their time managing a dozen projects at once. They realized quite early on that time remains the only non-expendable resource in the entire universe. Aware of this harsh reality, they have established another rule that consists of delegating failure to focus solely on massive success. This is what I call the wealth gap in the way we manage our time on a daily basis. While most people work for money, the billionaire makes time and money work for him. Do you know that extremely rich people work less than 4 hours a day? Hard to believe, especially when it comes to individuals meant to rule empires, isn't it? But did you ask yourself, what types of tasks do the rich categorically refuse to perform, but which, for you, occupy the majority of your time? How do you invest your time to generate income in the same way you invest your money to generate interest? In the next video, the 4th episode of this series, we will examine and delve into how do ultra-rich people use their non-extensible time. If you like this video, I'm sure you will enjoy the next episode even more. So don't miss it. Subscribe to the channel to not miss any opportunity to become a billionaire sooner than you think. Tell me in the comments which learning capital you would be willing to invest first to validate a new hypothesis. Your commitment inspires us. If the video was useful to you, like it and especially share it with your friend, colleague, or close too careful person to succeed. Thank you for watching the video until the end. This confirms your determination to give a boost to your financial life, and this is indeed your very first non-negotiable asset. Above all, take good care of yourself. I'll see you soon. Cheers!